Hi, welcome to Cyprus. This is the Aphrodite Hills Golf Resort. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to help Darius Morgan with his golf swing. So I was coming out to Cyprus creating some content, so I asked you guys to send me some videos of your golf swing, and I was going to pick a few to give you a lesson. Darius was one of the ones to send his golf swing, so we're going to take a look at that, give him some ideas on how he can improve. And the reason I've picked Darius is because he makes a few moves which I think are going to be quite common to the viewers out there. It's something we do see quite commonly from the amateur golfers, and we're going to hopefully give him a little exercise, a little drill, which is going to create some kind of opposite feelings, and that's going to hopefully mean he sort of falls somewhere in between the two and gets a much more neutral delivery of the golf club. So let's take a look at his golf swing. The camera angle isn't perfect, but I think we can pick up on what happens here. So you're going to see into that backswing, Darius gets that club quite flat, so the angle of the club shaft is kind of very, very flat. It's get quite close to horizontal, and the grip end tends to point more outside of the golf ball. Notice as he works up to the top, his hips work a little bit in towards the golf ball, so he loses a few of the body angles he had at address. And then in transition, you're going to notice that club shaft gets quite steep, certainly relative to what it was in the backswing, and that's what we're really going to try and work on. So club shaft flat in the backswing, steepening in transition, certainly a move which many of you out there will be struggling with. Couple that with the fact that his hips work in towards the golf ball, and I would suggest that Darius is going to be less consistent than he would like to be. And if we can give him some things to work on and change the angle of the club shaft through the swing, I think he's going to find his delivery is a lot more consistent, and that's ultimately going to help him play a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of work two drills and combine two together. Let's first of all talk about what we're going to do with the club shaft. So I'm going to get Darius to take a setup, and I want him to think about two areas relative to him. An area which is outside of the golf ball, and an area which is behind his heels. Now I don't want him to be too specific in terms of points on the ground, but just an area outside the ball and an area behind his heels. Now if we were to look at the club shaft angle, and through this golf swing, if we were to imagine that referenced the ground, we're going to get him to try and create some visuals in his golf swing. Here's what I want him to do. As he makes his backswing, I want him to point the grip end of the club into the area behind his heels. As you can see there, extremely different to what he currently does. As he gets to the top and he transitions into his downswing, I want him to point the grip into the area outside of the golf ball. Now this is the complete opposite move to what he currently does. At the moment, he points the grip outside the ball, and then in transition, he points it more behind him. Possibly not outside his heels, but a little bit more behind him. So the first drill I would like Darius to do is actually one where he creates the complete opposite feel. And I would have him do this in stages. So halfway back and hold it, grip is behind his body. In transition, it goes outside. Now, the key thing I want Darius to be aware of here is how he's doing this. I want him to think about what his arms are doing, his rotations and his forearm rotations. I don't want him to change where the club points by changing his body angles. And many golfers that I see will attempt to shallow that golf club by extending their body in. Darius already makes a move inwards with his hips. We're going to work on that in a moment. So really key that he tries to keep some good shape in his body. Grip goes behind him, grip goes outside the ball, and then he can swing through. And I would actually get Darius to hit some shots this way. Some, short shots that are going 50 or 60 yards, but halfway back, stop halfway down, swing through. That's going to help him achieve a much more neutral club shaft through the golf swing. What I'd then like him to do is take a golf ball and place it underneath the toe on his trail foot. And then as he's performing that same drill, feeling like his right hip is working a little bit more behind him, and there's a little bit more pressure going into that right heel. And as he does that, I want him to feel that that pressure in that right heel stays there as he transitions into his downswing. Ultimately, what we're going to get here is we're going to get a club shaft on the downswing which is flatter, and a body which has maintained some of its angles. That for me is going to be a huge difference to what he currently does. And he's going to feel it, it's going to be quite a strange, adjustment. But some practice, some repetition, some good solid drills, and I think we can start to get that a little bit better. Just one point to note here, I do not want Darius to have a swing like this. Those are the feels, those are the over-exaggerations. Ultimately, we actually want that golf club to work pretty much up and down on a very, very neutral plane, if you like, or an angle. But the feels have to be a little bit more exaggerated in order to make that change. Right, let's go ahead and hit one. So I'm just going to do it the way I would like Darius to do it initially in that drill. So we're going to go halfway back, club behind him. Transition, club goes outside the ball, and then he can just pivot through. Now that was a pretty poor strike, the ball's only gone 20, 30 yards, but that's absolutely fine. I'm not trying to hit perfect high draws doing that drill. I'm trying to create some different movements and get an understanding of what that feels like to me, the golfer. Darius, hope that helps. Let me know how you get on. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe even send me a video of you doing that drill. It'd be great to get some feedback from you and how it went. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Aphrodite Hills for having me out here for a few days. Thank you to Golf Breaks for sorting it all out. Much appreciated. And all the usual stuff is down below the video. That's the like box, the comments box. And also there is a link to subscribe to my channel. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you click that link. It's absolutely free to do so. More videos just like this one going up each and every week. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again soon.